A population explosion that has compelled the Assam government to come up with a draft population policy, which means that those who have more than 2 children will not be eligible for government jobs or occupy positions in civic bodies and panchayats. This is only a few of the measures. Basically, the birth of more than 2 children in the state will be seriously disincentivized. But is this something that will work? Is this discriminatory, a knee-jerk reaction, or a desperate measure which actually, as some in the Congress seem to suggest, needs to be implemented uniformly across the country?
You have to prove yourself as a role model, and you have to maintain the two-child norms continuously.
More than 2 children? No government job for you if you live in Assam. The state government defends the draft population policy steadfastly as a measure necessary to check the population explosion in the state.
তারে মই যদি কোনোবা এজন মানুহে যদি সরকারত সোমাব খোজে এজ এ এমপ্লয়ি এজ এ এমএলএ এজ এ হোয়াট এভার ওয়ে ইফ আই ওয়ান্ট টু বি পার্ট অফ দ্য গভর্নমেন্ট তেতিয়াহলে চিলড্রেন হ্যাভিং 2 children, people having 2 children eligible for government employment.
Population policy, this particular draft has been placed before public domain, and now we are seeking their comment and suggestion.
The opposition, interestingly, opposes it not in principle but in execution.
One end, according to you, there has been increase of population. On the other hand, you are laying red carpet, inviting people to settle here. So it is a full of contradiction.
इस सरकार की हर विचारधारा में तो हमने हरदम देखते हैं कि वो सिर्फ धर्म के नाम पर ही हर बात सोचते हैं, और दिखाई में एक होता है जैसे हाथी की दिखाई दांत एक होता है और खाने की दांत अलग होता है. बीजेपी तो वही है.
The policy was also dubbed discriminatory.
मुसलमान का पैदा होना मुल्क के लिए ख़तरा, मुसलमान का खाना मुल्क के लिए ख़तरा, ये आरएसएस की सोच है. मुसलमान का चलना इनके लिए ख़तरा. तो आखिर करना क्या चाहते हैं आप?
हम ये कहते हैं मुसलमानों को इसके बारे में कोई फिक्र करने की ज़रूरत नहीं. मुसलमानों को कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा. जो होगा हिंदू लोगों का ही नुकसान होगा, बीजेपी वालों का ही नुकसान होगा.
The drastic rise in Assam's population from 2.67 crores in 2001 to 3.12 crores in 2011 compels the Assam government to join the bandwagon of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Rajasthan, which follow the 2-child policy. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, we have with us in the studio Executive Director of the Population Foundation of India, Poonam Mutreja. She has serious reservations about the feasibility of this scheme. In just a minute from now, we'll be joined by the Assam Health Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma as well. But Poonam Mutreja, I want to first ask you, what is your principal opposition? Because across states where this has been implemented, the basic reasoning given is we have had a population explosion and only coercive measures will ultimately work in conjunction with other affirmative actions.
So coercive measures have not worked anywhere, including in India or China for that matter. In India, what we really need is better family planning services, good quality family planning services, choice for women, agency for women, and what really leads to reducing population in terms of numbers of fertility is education for girls, decreasing age at marriage, and that's increasing age at marriage, sorry. That's what Sri Lanka has done. And if you look at Kerala, where fertility rates came down drastically between 79 and 91, more than even China that was practicing the one-child policy, it happened because we invested in education and better development. So we have tried and tested globally methods which work. So coercion has already boomeranged in India. We all know about the emergency. When there was coercion, people protested with their votes. People, you know, the then ruling party was voted out. So people in India, we are a democracy and people don't accept coercion. But more than that, the reason I'm against any coercive measure is because it violates people's rights. It's anti-women, it's anti-poor. because women do not decide when they get married. So if they get married before 18, it is the family that decides.
Okay.
One. Two, if in India, we know that women do not have agency or the empowerment to access family
Okay, so
planning
let's take this one
services
by
on
one.
their
Let me
own.
put those questions to Himanta Biswa Sarma, who is now live with us. Mr. Sarma, coercive measures never work. So if affirmative action, which you've also spoken about in your draft population policy, why not that alone? Why the coercion?
Padmaja, this policy is based on disincentive and incentive. From, the disincentive is not synonymous with cohesive. I think you need certain things which make the idea of population management, actually it goes through the, it goes to the last mile. So when you come out with a policy like that, education norms, two-child norms, then it's become effective weapon, and I don't think that this is part of any cohesiveness.
But the argument being made is that it hasn't worked in other states. It hasn't even, for example, worked in China. What makes you think it's going to work in Assam?
What's worked is development.
Oh, I think if you look at our draft policy, we have talked like making girls' education complete free up to university level. We have talked about accessing girls accessing to more higher educational institute, then preventing dropout from the girls dropout from school. Then we talk about nutrition, we talk about hostel subsidy, mass due subsidy to girls. So I think both the combination of incentive and disincentive will positively affect to actually minimize IMR and MMR. So I don't see that this alone will suddenly bring down population. But
Okay, so the incentivization is great, but Poonam Mutreja feels that the disincentives are actually violative of a person's rights. Why do you say that?
I say that because a girl who does not have an opportunity to decide when she gets married, if her parents get her married at an early age, why should she be not have access to a government job? Two, it's normally the poorest who marry early. It is the poorest who have more than 2 children. It is the poorest who have least access to family planning methods. It is the poorest again who do not have agency, women who do not have the decision making authority.
So you're saying this is discrimination against the poorest and the weakest section of society?
Absolutely, the poorest, the weak, and women. It is very gender. And you know what happens earlier when they had the 2-child norm in panchayats, you know, in 6 states of India, there is evidence to show that men started divorcing wives on paper. People started disowning their child.
Okay, let me respond to that.
But I must say, I welcome the
I think
positive things in the
your
population
argument,
policy.
No, I think just what we are trying to say precisely, you are saying that in our policy we have said that girls doesn't have right to choose their reproductive policy about themselves. They don't decide when they should be mother. They don't decide when they should be married. Basically, their parents decide all these things. So this policy talk about punitive action against the parents if they force a girls to get married below 18 years of age. It talks about the punitive measure against the husband if they try to force upon a girls to become a mother at the tender age. So this policy is not directed against girls. This policy is going to give lot of, comfort zone to the girls. This policy is rather targeting towards the male community. Basically in our state, it is the male who decide. So most of the disincentive part is concerned with the male, not with the female. If a girl is married below the age of 18, we are going to ask their parents whether you have encouraged this or not. Then we are going to ask his husband whether, you have forced the girls to get married. So there will be nothing which will touch our girls. The disincentive part on the girls is very minimum, but disincentive will basically work on the parents and on the male.
Sir, I have to welcome all the positive measures that you are bringing in for development, which have worked in every state, other state and other countries. So I have to congratulate and welcome you. But I have to say, how does it help to ask the husband whether the girl was forced to marry or not? You have already made in your population policy a law or a rule that the girl will be disqualified from getting a government job. How can you do that? How does asking the question help the girl child? And I also want to say, sir, the development issues that you have raised are in keeping with the national population policy, while the disincentives, which I was calling coercion, but if you would like to call it disincentives, I will go by disincentives. But the government population policy of 2002, the central government is against incentives and disincentives.
Okay,
and India has signed on the draft plan of action Cairo, which was the International Population Development Conference, which totally has asked for a call to end both incentives and disincentives. And sir, you are violating the national population policy.
And if I may add to that, there are also some interpretations saying that it's only targeting of a community, Mr. Sarma.
No, ma'am. Actually, Padmaja, this argument I want to put in a different way. Now, government has adopted a national population policy. We have adopted a state population policy. Whether disincentive, incentive, we keep it aside. But a population policy, suppose we are doing on the basis of incentive, fine. Your guest has also concurred that this is the fine. Now, a government employee is a role model. Now, a government has adopted certain policy, and the same employees of the government will violate that policy. Can it be morally correct? Suppose I am a doctor, I am going to the village to say to people, say the people that kindly adopt this population policy. And when the villagers ask me how many children you have, the doctor will say I have 5. Will that work? So the idea of a panchayat president whose job is to propagate population policy to the people, he has to come out with a clean hands.
What is wrong in having a role model like that? You're surely not suggesting that having
poor are never role models for the rich. All right? The rich have been having, the rich and middle class in India have been having 2 children. But the poor have more than 2 children for different reasons. And let me just explain to you why.
But are you saying that's advisable? If through a variety of measures that was to be controlled, are you saying that that's wrong?
Ma'am, suppose, ma'am, suppose the poor, suppose the poor become a doctor, a poor student on our scholarship, everything, after helping, he become a doctor. Now, because his father was poor, he is not supposed to be a role model. He is supposed to be a role model. So, who become a government employee?
People don't have children, sir. There is no evidence to believe that people have children because of role models. People have children for very different reasons. In fact, in a country, your government data, national, including the national data shows that even the poorest people don't want more than 2 children. The average in India is 1.9 according to NFHS. So when poor people and families in India don't want more than 2 children, what they want is access to good quality family planning services and increasing age at marriage.
Okay, let him respond.
Ma'am, these are fine. But when we go to the village, we have population where the growth rate is almost 30%, and there are many people who refuse to accept family planning method for their some kind of belief. Now, government has to propagate this. We have to convince our poor people, look, here is a family planning method, you kindly adopt. But then if the poor put me a question, okay, I am going to adopt, but you are advising me how many children you have. So if I say no, but I have 5 children, will that method work? You can remember the famous story of Hazrat Muhammad, the Prophet Hazrat Muhammad. When the small kids wanted to get advice, that leave the sweets, that he first leave habit of sweets, then he asks the poor that kids to leave the sweets. So government employee has to be role model. The panchayat president has to be role model. The minister, the MLA has to be role model. So this incentive will only work on a section who are supposed to be role model. Otherwise, for the mass of the population, for the rest of the population, it is only incentive. There is no disincentive.
And Poonam Utreja, added to that, there are also concerns that if you have a larger population within a household, there will be limited resources to go around that particular household. That in itself will be a huge disservice to the family members.
But that is precisely why people in India do not, it is only 10% of the population in India that wants more than 2 children. And that's also families that are very poor who do not think they have access to, they don't have the money to go to the private sector and access health services for their children. So if young children die, then women tend to have, or families tend to have more children.
But ma'am, my question to you is, and what is being done, they are saying it is going to be a comprehensive policy. So you will have better access to health services, you will have better education, dissemination of information, but in addition to that, you will also have...
But you don't need these coercive population policies when they have such fantastic ideas. I greatly admire what the health minister is saying. What he is intending to do, he will be able to successfully do. We know from Kerala and other states, if you invest in development, family planning services, education of girls and increasing age of marriage, you've got a winning formula, sir. Why are you doing things which in addition to that also violates rights, which is anti-people? You have such fantastic ideas.
Violates what
and you're
rights?
combining, it violates the right of a woman to access a job, a government job. It violates the right of a woman to, and it victimizes the third child. Imagine you're a third child and you're born into a family, and because of you, your mother won't or your father won't get a job.
Okay, let him answer.
No, ma'am, only if you, I'll ask you a simple question, that don't you want our government employee to be role model? I mean, in any sphere, if there is a sportsman who is the coacher, a coach who is supposed to teach people about the fitness, and if the person is himself unfit, can he teach that to the sports person?
Sir,
that you have
good
to be
people have to be role models. Are you telling me every government employee is a honest a role model for the community?
Yes,
What we need to do is exercise better governance and make our first, let there be character of our people, whether it's government or politicians or NGOs or others, but to be role models. I think just to say that any government person, because he has fewer children, he becomes a role model, that has not happened. The middle class government officials does not have more than 2 children.
No, ma'am, if Assam government intends to make all our employee a role model before the society, what is the harm we are doing?
No,
I don't think so.
And I want to add to this. I want to add to this argument about the role model.
2,000 people join.
Poonam Utreja, are you actually making out a case that people should not be stopped from having multiple progeny? Won't that also affect maternal and the child's health?
So the
third child will not be stigmatized, but the third child will perhaps not have access to education or nutrition. How is that any better than the child being stigmatized because he or she is the third child?
No, but I'm talking about that stigma only that you're talking about.
So the child will not be stigmatized if this 2-child rule is not there, but the child will not have enough access to education. Maybe the family just can't afford
to educate in India is free.
give
1 minute. Education in India is free.
Okay, limited resources of the family.
Health services in India, health services are free, are supposed to be universal.
Does it not affect maternal health?
There has to be subsidy. No,
more children is bad for the lady.
Family planning is the best, most empowering way to help women. But they are not talking about only doing that. I'm saying if you want to really concretely empower women, family planning is the best, because family planning also reduces maternal mortality. It improves maternal health. it reduces child mortality. I am all for championing family planning
so
services.
Himanta Biswa Sarma,
and
the question is, the incentives are enough. Why introduce the disincentives?
That's my only problem.
This policy talks about spacing. No, ma'am, we are not introducing this incentive. We are only trying to say that the government employee, the panchayat president, they should be role model for the rest of the population.
You make your role models. My humble request to you, sir, is you please follow your positive development policies. You called it a draft policy. We will be happy to share evidence with you, and please look at, if you think there is evidence that such disincentives are not anti-women, anti-poor, anti-people and violate their rights, then you can reconsider it. But at this point of time, you have a draft population policy which sounds very good minus these disincentives. My request is you ask your department to study whether incentives have worked or not.
Okay, and my final question to you, all right, so I think this is a good note to end on. Final question to you. Final question to you. Himanta Biswa Sarma, I have to. I have to ask you the final question.
Small example.
Just a second.
Padmaja, I'll just give you a small example. Yeah. When in our health department we give appointment letters to the people, we used to add a paragraph that as a government employee you expect that you should follow 2 child norms. That itself control many things. We could create a greater consciousness. Now I am very sure with this kind of disincentive, there will be a lot of people who will stop harassing women, who will stop, the many parents will stop girls from getting early marriage, and there will be many parents who will encourage people to go education.
We have studied population policies in India and globally. We have never found this to be true. This has not worked, sir. First, you bring the evidence that it works.
No, ma'am. We have started a journey. No, ma'am, I am ready to get all the evidences which you have said.
Okay.
But at the same time, we have also, after consultation, we have also come into the considered view that once government employee or intending government employee, panchayat president, MLA, MP start behaving in a matured manner, not coercing girls for the early marriage, maintain family norms, these will have a wider implication and these will have a much more positive implication.
All right, so you've already challenged each other to presenting data to support your individual cases. This is going to be an ongoing debate. We promise you we will hear much more of this right here on 8 p.m. For now, for that very riveting discussion, thank you very much Himanta Biswa Sarma and Poonam Muthreja for joining us. Quick break coming up on the other side is India First.